you guys. All right, so we are on day 5, and I kind of messed up the videos yesterday. So, oops, shit happens, right? This is real life. So thank you for being with me on my bumpy ride here this morning. Water, super important, and I want to talk about that. I'm going to post a couple of articles up in the group today, and I will link them in the emails. But there's lots of things in water. There's distilled water, there's spring water, there's Kangen water, which is kind of a label, there's peach water, there's water with this, there's water with that. And the bottom line is, I don't even know if we get pure water anymore. But the closest to natural that should be your mantra, closest to natural in anything that comes along. So I'm not a huge fan of drinking water out of plastic. And the reason is because depending on what kind of plastic and what number is on the bottom of your bottle, most of them are in bottles now, determines if there's leaching or not. So when you drive by these grocery stores and they have this big ass display of water sitting out there in the sun, I can guarantee you that the plastic has been compromised, and now you are drinking the plastic in your water. So just think about that. It's gonna be bumpy here for a sec, you guys. Gotta get some errands done. So anyway, let me talk a little bit about this. Is super informal today. Let's talk a little bit about water. So we use a filter in our gym on our water source, and we've been really happy with it. And you have to be confident that what you're taking into your body is healthy, and this is true for every single thing. So the best options are, I prefer glass, but you can't take glass everywhere, and your kids definitely, the young ones, glass is challenging. So looking for containers that are healthiest, if that makes sense, that contain the least amount of chemicals. And there's a lot of options out there. You do not have to spend, I forgot what the name of it is, the super expensive, the little dude face on the container. I don't know why. So for me, a lot of these things that I don't want in my life, I don't actually see anymore. Or if I do see them as a symbol, I cancel the programming around it, and cancel, so I gotta say out loud. And then I don't use it. Or that's not true. Sometimes I will choose to use it, but it's my conscious choice. So I know we're getting into little extra mental aspects of this, but it's so confusing. And the goal isn't to confuse you today, you guys. The goal is to let you know that you are a powerful creator being and you have options. And when you start digging down into the information, you can be confident that you're making the right choice for you at this time. It's kind of that easy. So I like to use 2 kinds of water. I use distilled water, and I also use spring water. So if you have a spring water that is closest to wherever it is you live, you can usually get those delivered in 5 gallons. Maybe you have a reverse osmosis filter inside on your sink. I know when we purchased our current home, it was one of the features that I wanted. So we have a reverse osmosis system. We also have a full filter in our garage. Now, don't go run out and buy one because they're super expensive. Well, that's relative. But if you're making investments in that and you're staying in your home, these are options along the way. pH water. It's not bad, but chances are it isn't exactly what it says. Now, that doesn't mean if you have your own unit, which are also expensive, that it's good for you all of the time. So if you are a pH water person, the first and foremost thing is do not drink it around eating. And the reason for that is because with your digestive process, you need to have an acid environment, because your enzymatic process is breaking the foods down so that they're absorbable in the small intestine. So just being aware how important it is to make sure that you know what that is. Usually in the digestive process, your body you'll see food and the brain is stimulated. The brain then goes in and creates chemicals that begins to salivation and digestive enzymes in the stomach and in the small intestine. Super cool. If we dampen that expression, then your body won't do what it's supposed to do. And if something gets in there, like a bacteria or a fungi or something that your body shouldn't have in there, this is where food poisoning kind of comes in, it usually will attack that, and you shouldn't get any symptoms from it. However, our guts are a little out of balance, and therefore our fire in the belly becomes dampened and things get through. So just letting you know, there's a whole process around this. I'm not going to get into all of the details, but if you're not familiar with it, it's fascinating. And it is something that in later classes down the road, if you guys come on and join into either the Wisdom Warriors membership, which is great. It's every month we go over a different body system and organ, and or sometimes I just do some classes on it. Wow, so there's so much. It's so exciting for me. I love it because I finally get to share it all in a different forum. But we're back to water. So why is it so important? Water is a catalyst in the body. It hydrates. It's like all good things come through water. Now you can get hydration through your food, through other beverages, as long as they're in the healthy version. And then on top of that, you can get it through a lot of things. You don't always just have to drink water. Your foods, I think I said that. I'm a little distracted. I'm here to get this really awesome book that I saw yesterday, and I got kicked out of the store because they were closing. And I think I just saw a lady walk out with it. All right. Anyway, water will also help with some of those symptoms that I was talking about. So think of it this way: detox and starting to feel like you're getting sick can be the same thing. And the reason for that is, under terrain theory, that your body is encapsulating things that don't belong in there. So stress reduces the immune system, sugar reduces the immune system. And then when we start to release things out of the cells, it's got to go somewhere. And if it can't go there fast enough, it needs a way out. And that's what mucus is. Mucus comes along, again, Osmosis Jones, super cool if you haven't seen it. It comes along, encapsulates it, and then pushes it out of the body through those detox organs. It's actually warm in here. So there we go. On the water, let's just talk about what you do now. Assess where you are. Assess what water is coming into your body, where it's coming from, where you're purchasing it from, whether it's out of your own faucet. There are some amazing filters that you can get for very inexpensive. You just put them right on your sink or right on your shower. So we haven't talked about this, but your skin is the largest organ in your body, on your body. It covers every piece of your body as the largest organ. And when you shower and put things on it, it's absorbing that. So we get our filtration system right now, the last one that we got, and I'm a rotator. I'm not always brand specific for lots of reasons not to be discussed here. But we can talk about that later. If anyone has questions, you guys, you've already been direct messaging me. Ask me. I'm going to try to post a public answer or a private public answer in the group, because you're not the only one who has that question. But we use the system for our showers right now. That is, I think we get it at Home Depot or Ace this time. We're trying not to shop at a lot of the corporations and the big boxes, but a lot of them are. So a way around that, and I'm not sure how I'm going to deliver this one, but you can do different things like membership groups. I'm not familiar with Melaleuca, but I've had a lot of people asking me about that. places where you kind of pay yourself back. I guess that would be the old Amway, which I don't know what their new name is. I'm not a huge fan of MLMs, but I'm not quite sure. There are some of them that their structure isn't that old style, but we don't have to talk about that. That's not what we're talking about now. So filters, why don't we have part of that as our Q&A, and I can show you what we do. Our whole house filter we have had for quite a long time, and it just gets maintenance, and it does all of the water in our house. So that's the yard, that's when we wash our cars, if we wash them in our driveway, which isn't as efficient as it used to be. It just comes in at the water main, and then goes through the whole house. So washing windows and, clothes and all of those kinds of things. The water system that is our public, I think it's EID, is the right acronym for that. Whew, there's a lot of stuff in it. And if you've seen any of the articles over the last couple of years, they're starting to see medications test for that, because the filtration, the junk that gets through their filtration system can be quite a lot, and our bodies are very sensitive to that. So our goal in all of this, this is packed, guys, I'm sorry, is raising our vibration so that the cells in our body, I'm going to sing this song, it's cute. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. And there's a lot of videos on that, and there's kids singing it. It's amazing. Bring that vibration in and know that's the best that you're doing. So no tap water. Look for an alternative. Ask me. I have lots of options. Just sometimes they can be overwhelming in a group. And a lot of times if you ask me and tell me what your situation is, then I can take you to whatever the next step is. I don't have all this secret information. It's all out there. And maybe, people in your circle of influence already have the perfect answer for you. Number one thing is, most of these things do not have to be expensive. So one of the triggers for me is if something comes up and it's a lot of money, and I go, oh, it sounds good, but let me dig into that a little bit. It doesn't have to be. Now, we know that quality and value are the optimal thing. Sometimes you are going to have to pay a little bit more to get that quality, but it doesn't have to always be the most expensive thing. So that is not true that the most expensive thing is the best thing. So kind of finding the balance in that. And this is where we start to work around, what money are you spending on your health or in other areas, and how do you redistribute the value of money that's being spent, because money is energy. So think about that. Like, why do we spend $16 on a hamburger eating out right now? That's crazy. We're not eating hamburgers right now, but every time I go out and look, I'm like amazed. I know prices are going up, and they have been for the last decade. But right now, is that really value? Now, the time spent with my friends, it's like, we'll say free therapy, or however you want to look at it, the enjoyment value you get out of that just might be worth it. But is it worth it on that regular basis? Or is the value of the food that you're getting worth it? So these are just little things, and I didn't want to make this long, but I missed out on the water, and we were out and about, so I gave you a picture of my lemon water. Unfortunately, it was in a plastic glass, but it wasn't in there for long. And sometimes you can ask to get a glass. They'll usually have a beer glass from the bar. It's glass. You can always ask about those things. It seems unconventional, but you're the consumer, you're the customer. You're obviously paying a lot for it. So ask for what you want. What is that? Ask and the door shall be open. Ask and you shall receive. All right, guys, have a wonderful Sunday. And so today's video, we'll talk about yesterday. We'll say it was yesterday, and it isn't. And tomorrow's video, we'll say it is Sunday, and then we'll be back on track on Monday. So I love you guys. Have an amazing, amazing weekend. Get some sunshine, and I'll talk to you soon.